Good morning and welcome to the Unblinded Morning Huddle, where the number one place to get your daily dose of integrity-based human influence. My name is Adam Gugino. Fernando is out once again on a wonderful vacation with his family. Welcome, Sean.
Adam, how are you, brother? Welcome,
I am
everybody.
fantastic.
So if you're starting this fun Friday, ready to rock and roll, we're here and ready. If you're feeling a little down, a little bumped up, banged up, things happen. I just got off a beautiful call with a dear friend who, went through a couple challenging moments for yesterday. So sometimes we wake up not in a peak place, in peak state, and heart goes out if that's where you are for today. But at the end of the day, right, what we ground with is there's no judgment. You have full permission any day to have no fun, full permission from yourself, right? From the world to have no fun, be completely angry, be totally despondent, be miserable about things, be remembering every single thing you've ever screwed up in your entire life. And you have absolute right and permission to live in that space forever, to choose sadness, to choose depression, all those things. The only thing I want to put out there is that these are choices. Now, before we get into a Tom Cruise circa 2000 moment, I didn't just say that there's not real depression. I didn't just say there's not biochemical issues in people's place and space. So let's carve that out, right? What I am saying is that for the vast, vast majority of everybody, how we feel on a daily basis is something very much within our own control. And on Fun Friday, when I get angry and upset and frustrated, that's a choice. And some of the most beautiful learnings I've done over the last decade, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 1 month even, is realizing how we feel, you feel, I feel, we feel on a daily basis is related to the choices we make. And so today on this Fun Friday, I want to introduce self-mastery. So we drew out the formula the other day, and we talked about there being process, influence, and self-mastery. Yesterday, we talked about what's a micro distinction. Remember, we talked about there's a formula. And the formula is how you produce any result you want. The formula also helps us choose our results and outcomes. And we'll talk more about that next time. But in this Fun Friday, I want to drop in on a little bit of self-mastery. We're going to bring up somebody awesome and hear a little bit about some of their own self-mastery progress and acceleration, and how self-mastery is the ability to get ourselves to take zone action. Yesterday, we described what micro distinctions are and zone action is. And remembering micro distinctions and zone action are all those tiny little things that we do. So when you're Adam Gugino and you enter into a space that is empty as a warehouse, and it's got folding chairs and folding tables, and there's this company, and there's no sales team really internally on the phones, and the mission is go build this thing out, and then you have to go recruit 8 people to hire, and then you go recruit 8 people and you hire them. And then the first day they get no appointments. And the second day they get no appointments. And the owner is telling you can fire everybody and it's okay. How do you master yourself to keep coming up with the micro distinctions? Number 2. And micro distinctions are those small things each day that we create that have massive impact. Zone action is it's not about, we've all heard the story or the statement in the space of personal development. Hey, if you get one thing today, then it was worth your time and energy and effort. I think that's absolute BS. Getting one thing is not what we're here to do it all. It's getting the right micro distinction, the right small input to have huge output. It's not worth 4 hours of your time to go to a randomized networking meeting because you meet somebody that you probably could do something with. So I want us to dial in on zone action, dial in on zone action. And zone action could be, by the way, having fun. So zone action could be restoring, rejuvenating, loving yourself. That could be zone action too. So zone action and decision-making and Zeus energy is not singularly connected to making money, to building an enterprise. No, zone action, Zeus energy of decision could be to buy flowers. It could be to create a magical, romantic, loving moment. It could be to have fun and go on a roller coaster. That's Zeus energy. That's a decision. It was a decision to like take the day and allocate the time. Maybe it was just randomly, like random decision making is Zeus energy. So I want to make sure like we're all connected on like zone action isn't just about money. It's about our health. It's about deciding to run. It's about deciding to watch a fun movie. It's about laughing, right? Like laughter is fun energy, but if you decide, right, to watch a movie, you need to make a decision. Decision is the space of Zeus energy. So the micro distinctions that took Adam from like those 8 people to then having them not succeeding, could have decided to fire them, got permission, didn't, kept them, fired a lot of people on the journey though, like not those 8, at least initially. Some of those 8, made it incredibly far in the process and may still be there. I don't know the answer to that question, but got to 500 people, 3 to 700 or 3.5 million to 700 million in revenue over the span of just under 4 years because of zone action. But none of that zone action, those micro distinctions occur without self-mastery. And self-mastery is how we get ourselves to forward the action, whatever the actions are, how we're intentional, how we're balancing our life and or being in a place of conscious imbalance. And so today we just want to explore some introduction to the concepts at a very introductory level, self-mastery. And I want to bring up Andres to support us with that fun. So if the Unblinded team, Chaz, Adam, we could support and bring up Andres for today. Let's see what's happening there. And Adam, as we do that, I just want to ask you, and for those of you, like what's present isn't code word for like delay a moment and like have some filler time. What's present? Hey, like, what are you thinking, feeling? It's the same concept. Like, what is this rising for you? As we say this, like, what's top of heart, top of mind? And that's what I mean by what's present. Like, what's top of heart, top of mind? Like, what does this bring to you right now? Adam, what do you got, brother?
It brings incredible truth. It's amazing how I've told you the story not more than a few times, and how you've been able to dissect and understand exactly, the micro distinctions of what happened during those moments. Of course, there's even more detail to go into, but we'll just so you know, everything you said was so spot on. And that night, after the first 2 days of zero success on the phones with those first 8 individuals, and by the way, there are still some that are there currently.
That's all.
Yeah, and actually the first one I ever hired is still there. But to your point, that night after 2 days of failing, it took such deep self-examination, understanding, like, who did I fail? Did I fail the company and myself? And that's the realization that hit me, that I failed the people that I had hired that had the vision and believed in me. And it's what this made me decide to walk in the next day and say, listen, don't pay my salary. Let me work with this group. And then the real key to the whole thing was deciding that I was going to get on the phone with them that day, on a Friday, by the way, Shawn, and make the phone calls with them. And we had so much fun, and we laughed when we got hung up on. And that was the day we ended up with 8 appointments, and 1 turned into a sale, and the rest was history. But it was so much self-mastery involved in that entire process. And you nailed it with what you said. So that's what it brought up for me.
Well, and brother, it's a lot easier to say the words than to do what you did. And what you did, I haven't done. And I don't think anybody else in this line has done, and build a 500-person call center. And brother, that is epically unbelievable. There's things that we've all done that each other haven't done, but the answer always lies in the formula. And your ability to have duplicated and duplicated and duplicated in that process is utterly mind-blowing. So do we have Andres with us today?
I'm here.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Very cool. And Andres, you're up to some really cool things in the world. How would you like to represent like who you are, what you're doing? And we'll get into some of the micro distinctions and more recently, but like you're in Puerto Rico and you love people and their dreams and their future and possibilities. So like, what are you up to in the world you like to share?
Thank you. No, thank you for that. Thank you for having me here. Well, I was the first one in my family to leave Puerto Rico and make it and study in the U.S. And I was full of pride in doing that. I got into the business world and thought I knew it all, lost it all, got into this period of transition and personal development, looking within, and got into got really deep into self-mastery and understanding my thinking and how that plays a role in my behavior and my results. And I got obsessed. I transformed my life, and all I want to do was teach it to other people. Not just other people, but teach it to people in Spanish. That's my first tongue. That's our language here. And it's a topic that's not discussed. It's something that's not taught of at a deep level, like it is in the English language. And I want to be that person. I want to give other people that gift of knowing the potential that they have inside of them. And as soon as I saw the formula, I kind of saw what I'm doing with people in their potential and helping them see what they don't see about their potential, and not just seeing it, but using it to truly design their life the way they want to. So that's my mission here. I want to help every single Hispanic person in the world understand what they're capable of, so we can rise up. We can truly show the passion and the emotion that we have for our communities and help each other build. So that's what I'm here to do.
Congratulations on that awesome vision, brother. And so, and I mean that, like, that's extraordinary. So I didn't know you were going to go all the way there, and that's beautiful that you're going all the way there, throwing the flag in the ground. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm here to do in the world. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fun fact about Andres.
Fun fact. Okay. Well, I play the piano. That's a fun fact. I play piano. I love the beach. I have my swim trunks on. It's Friday. I'm taking a half day today, so I'm gonna go to the beach, play paddle tennis.
That's awesome. Which beach in Puerto Rico?
So it's Ocean Park. It's close to the Condado area and Old San Juan. So it's about 15 minutes away from me.
Cool. Well,
yeah.
Have a beautiful day out there. And yeah, enjoy. What's the ocean temp? Got to be in the high 80s, right? Mid 80s, high 80s?
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty warm, especially at this time of the year. It's beautiful. I don't even think about it twice. I used to live in New York for about 10 years, and the first time I went to a beach there was no way that I was going to get myself into that cold water. I don't know how you do it, but props to you.
Shawn, quick question. Paddle tennis, is that pickleball? I just have to ask.
No, it's different. It's similar. It's different. Pickleball, it's an actual small tennis court, but it's a different paddle. It's different. I believe it's the same ball, but beach tennis is kind of like like a volleyball net, It's a different paddle, but similar style of game, and it's on the beach.
Cool.
So here's what's present for me. Andres and Adam have to have a pickleball paddle tennis, like best of series, and we will have to like have that on Facebook Live, but we'll come back.
Yes.
All right, so here we go. So Andres, I want a quick association game. I say the word money. You say first word.
Abundance.
I say the word sell. You say first word.
Opportunity.
I say the word market. You say first word.
Visibility.
Okay. Now let's go feeling. I say sell. First word. Feeling. First
Love.
feeling. Okay. I say market. You say feeling. First word.
Desire.
I say money. You say first word. You feel.
Love as well. Love.
Cool. I say people. First feeling.
Compassion.
All right. Awesome. So that obviously is going to show up quite differently in our self-mastery because we're conditioned. We are going to show up differently in the words market, sell. You're all going to show up differently. Love, people, money, all of those things, right? I say love, first feeling, just out of curiosity. Love, first feeling.
Deepness, just truth.
Cool. Awesome. Final. I say cold call, first feeling. First feeling.
Uncomfortable.
Okay, awesome. So that's obviously all of these things, how we're conditioned to these words and concepts have an impact. Now, what's interesting is Andres, like all of you, has feelings about different words, right? And by the way, if we ask each other our feelings in those words at a different time of the day, after an intense encounter, it's going to show up differently. So the beginning of self-mastery is understanding that the jump off is self-awareness. Like without self-awareness, there can be no self-mastery. So the first thing I would introduce is the idea that our self-mastery is often reflexive. And so shifting our conditioning over time is an amazing tool of helping us be in much more of a state of flow, of fun and simple magic, right? Because we say that in the whole process of what we're here to do at Unblinded is for us, we, you, I, to co-create simple, fun, and magical micro distinctions and frictionlessness that free exponential abundance of what? Money, time, and magic. So if we're in the space of realizing, like self-awareness wise, that our conditioning is a thing, and also realizing how crazy we are. We're crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Because what I just heard is that like selling is love, people are love, right? Money is abundant, and then cold calling is uncomfortable. So how do we go from love of people, of money, of selling, to cold calling being uncomfortable? No judgment. It's just like the craziness of what is. Andres, like, does that make sense to you? Like, you feeling that awareness that that is like really odd, that you'd have those beautiful feelings about all these other things, and cold calling could show up that way for you? Your
Absolutely.
thought?
Yes. No, it makes perfect sense. It's the ideas we accept, you know?
Yeah. And then watch this, Adam, when you guys were doing 100 million calls a year, 100 million calls, Adam Gugino, how do you feel about cold calling? First feeling, cold calling, how do you feel?
Abundance.
Yeah. So you think that's going to make Adam have a different level of self-mastery around cold calling than you, Andres?
Unlimited opportunity. I just have to I just keep going because there's
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It does. And just a small distinction here. Like I used to work on a sales floor, and similar to like kind of the relationship Adam had with his reps, and having the manager really help us grow and help us develop a company. And I was doing, 300 dials a day. So if you asked me back then, it was like all for it, once. And it goes to what you just said about the different situations that we have in our daily lives that make us see what we're doing in a different way.
Yeah. And so if you're listening, hearing like, okay, so what are we talking about? That cold calling is the way to do everything? The answer is no. Mm-hmm. No, because I don't cold call, right? That's not what I'm doing currently, but I have, and I will, and I would if it's necessary, right? So like pause, because there's faster ways over time to do it. And a part of understanding process mastery and how it intersects with self-mastery. Remember, self-mastery is how we get ourselves to follow a process, to follow influence, is the way I see process mastery, is it builds. So yes, there's always expansion faster comes in a space of calling people and talking to people we don't know, to merge ecosystems, maybe to sell, like, right? To bring together things. Over time though, there's accelerants and leverage, because a major part of influence is authority, as Robert Cialdini would say. Authority, social proofing, liking, all of these things matter. So like Dr. Phil didn't become Dr. Phil by cold calling. Dr. Phil became Dr. Phil by Oprah Winfrey saying, Dr. Phil is amazing. Social proof and authority, and Oprah liking him, therefore everybody else liking him. And immediately there's massive power. However, when we think of stories and people and places and things, we so often skip. So Dr. Phil at some point in his life had to get his business going. He had to talk to people. He had to make things happen. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he cold called anybody. I don't know that part of the story, but I do know that there was about 1,000 things that he had to do. I'm sure thousands of things that he had to do to get to a point where Oprah Winfrey was in a lawsuit and she hired his firm to deal with jury verdict consulting. That's how they met. To get to the point that he was working at the level of an Oprah Winfrey in a lawsuit, he had to do all kinds of things that were uncomfortable. And a lot of the space that I find like a major opportunity, I have empathy in my heart, love deep inside of me for everybody, like empathy, love, but it's also realizing we can't like deceive ourselves and think that like all of a sudden Oprah Winfrey is going to come out or somebody's going to come rescue us, plop us down on their stage or their TV show and go, magic. That's going to happen for everybody eventually that follows the highest level of self-influence or process mastery, where you will be validated. You will have beautiful ecosystem mergers, but first they need to be created. And what I want to do is acknowledge Andres for, despite your discomfort, despite your fears, wherever they lie. I have them too. I have fears. I have discomfort. Okay. You confronted them, took massive action, working together in, the mastery coaching program, and you're kicking some butt, brother. So you want to share like what you did, and you've coached people for a long time. What didn't you see before? Like the real condensed story. Let's like the 60-second version. What you didn't see before, what you do see now, what you didn't want to do, but are doing anyway, and what happened. So let's start with, what didn't you see before and what do you see now?
So I didn't see what I was able to do, what I'm able to accomplish, and what us as individuals were able to accomplish when we have a dream, when we have something we truly want to, when we truly want to achieve. What I see now is abundance. Like, it's truly the opportunity for you to glow, for you to shine and step into your greatness, step into the person who you want to become. And what was the other part?
No. And so what was it like, what, if anything, in our work together here at Unblinded and the formula unlocked that, or freed that, not unlocked it, freed that for you?
Oh yes. It's communication. It's communicating your superpower. It's helping someone move from where they are to where they want to be, and actually do it in a way that connects heart to heart. And it's a win-win-win for everybody. And I've been seeing that here reflected here in Puerto Rico with people that have no idea who I had before we had that first conversation. And it's just full of gratitude from both parties.
So when you and I initially were speaking, is it okay if I asked you this permission yesterday and you said yes. So I just want to make sure that we drop into like what we're working on. Is that cool or no?
Yes.
Okay. So you said, Andres, that you really didn't know a lot of professionals in Puerto Rico as of a month ago, let's say. Is that accurate or not accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay. So then, and I just want to like jump to steps, but then from the minute we said, hey, like this is what ecosystem merging looks like. It looks like you bring 5, they bring 5, they bring 5, and you partner up with a few different professionals to do an event, a speaking engagement, right? And at that moment, there's like moment X, like we'll call it day 1. On the day we said that, you didn't really have anybody that you knew generally, or maybe you knew, maybe an accountant, you maybe knew a person, but you certainly didn't know enough of the people to fill an event or anything like that. Is that fair?
That is absolutely fair. Yes, That is accurate.
So, and then you partnered up with 3 people to do the event. Is that, or 2?
3 people. So 3 more people. So it was 1 that I knew and 2 that I didn't know before that day 1 moment.
Okay. So day 1, you know 1 person, you don't know the other 2. Okay.
Correct.
How many days later do you get to a point where you have 65 signups, about 40 to 45 professionals show up for your virtual speaking thing? So day 1, and then on day what was the day number when you had the event with 40 plus people show up?
So day 1 and day 13, so 2 weeks after, we had and it was like I confirmed all 3 within 7 days of the event.
Okay. So day 1, you know 1 person. By day 3, and 1 was an account. You knew the accountant. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you didn't. And who the other 2? What do they do for a living?
So it's insurance provider, financial services, and a business attorney.
Okay. So shockingly, what I want to acknowledge you for is that you did exactly what we suggested. We said there's 3 great avatars for you to grow what you want to grow: financial services, attorney, accountant. You knew an accountant, did not know an attorney or financial services. 7 days later, you've confirmed all 3 to do an event 6 days after that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So just like Adam, how awesome is that? Like, just followed exactly the process mastery formula, merged the ecosystems with 3 people, got them to say yes to do something, right? Of connecting and bringing people to this event. What I was suggesting is everybody brings 5. That would have been 5, 5, 5, 5. It would have been 20. But instead, Andres had 40 show up. Is that the number, 40 or no?
Yes, 40 people showed up.
Yeah. Okay, outstanding. Adam, quick 5 second. Awesome or no?
Fills my heart, as Fernando would say, and gives me chills, as I would say. Love it.
Okay. So then now and it wasn't perfect. Like there were micro distinctions missing. The call to action could have been better. It was the first one, but how insanely beautiful. And think about it, if you're listening out there, you want to accelerate, it's stage and microphone. And Andres just built his own stage and microphone exactly like we talk about in the formula, right? And so Andres, you also had a very unique economic week. I think it was last week. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So, and share whatever you want about the uniqueness of that economic week in terms of your life and stuff, because that was the byproduct also of what we're talking about, right? Of you being in the formula, you asking for business and beginning. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, it is. I mean, it got me to see what I'm able to do on my own. You know, before where I was working, is it okay if I use like actual numbers?
I would love you to use that. I don't want to make you do that, but yeah, drop it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like before to earn, let's say $6,000, I had to sell $60,000 worth of product, and it would take me so long to do. It would take me a long time to do that. And you know, now it's just straight directly earning the 6,000, and that's all for me. And it took me a lot less to do, and a lot less time, effort, and ultimately I had more fun doing it. So it was a massive breakthrough because I'm seeing benefits of what this formula is doing.
So is that correct that you made $6,000 last week? Is that
yes?
Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And how many weeks in your life have you made $6,000 in a week? Is that common, not common?
It hasn't been as common. No, I think the most I'd ever earned. Well, I've done that before, but it doesn't, I think the last time was probably March or February that I did that within a week, but it hasn't happened as fast.
Yeah. And so that was 13 days from idea to go. And it's only the beginning of the beginning. Now, what will happen all the time, not to Andres because he's unbelievable, wink, wink, right? But to people is we'll stop and our self-mastery will kick in and we'll screw it up. Because some of these things, Andres, you had to get yourself to do that you were uncomfortable with. Like you were calling lawyers, financial services people, accountants. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And how did you feel going into calling them and talk? Like, how did you get an attorney to say yes to do this with you who you didn't even know? Like, did he yell at you? Did he scream at you? Did people hang up on you, call you a terrible person?
No, not at all. I mean, they received it very well. I followed the formula. I followed what I'm learning and what I've been doing. And it just, things flowed. It wasn't that they felt grateful that they felt like I was giving them this gift. And I've heard you mention that example before, and it really felt like that. For me, it was uncomfortable at the beginning to just dial, and in some conversations that I mentioned this to you, that I thought it's like, oh, don't pick up. And it's like, oh my God, no, yeah, pick up. But when you taught me you got me to see about don't disconnect from the outcome and focus on serving and focus on showing your power of influence, it shifted everything and it makes it fun. And it's every conversation that I have, it's even more fun. I have another event scheduled for next week, this time including the medical side. So it's just fun, and it's fun getting to know other people, and people are grateful. Surprisingly, they don't have these experiences. This business lawyer, this was his first speaking engagement in a long time, and he was so excited because he's able to build his business now.
Yeah. So these people, what I'm hearing you say, Andres, is these people are receiving this, especially after you held it, as a gift of freeing simple, fun, and magical micro distinctions and frictionlessness that are freeing exponential abundance for these people. They're happy. They're having fun. They're seeing this as a gift. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And now, by the way, there's plenty of people that you can talk to that wouldn't feel that way. Adam, out of 100 million phone calls, how many people hung up and said F you and yelled at somebody and those 100 million phone calls, I'm sure there was many. What percentage of calls, let's go this way, out of 100 calls, what percentage would be calls or people be engage in aggressive, rude behavior on the phone?
So obviously that's going to vary depending on where these calls came from. But if you're talking about the straight cold of the coldest of the cold, 1% to 2%, which would be open to a meeting. Of course, that percentage goes up with people that were sending in information and showing more interest.
And what would you, in your self-mastery, how would you reframe that? So why wouldn't you, if you got somebody who was acting aggressively, was saying not nice things, how were you able to pick up the phone the next time?
Everything you're saying, based on your understanding that every no, you're one step closer to a yes, and not being emotionally affected by the no, by the hang up, and understanding they're not dismissing you. They just could be a bad time. They're just not seeing what they're not seeing yet, and you move on to the next.
Yeah. So let me give you, as we wrap up for today on Fun Friday, how to have fun doing this. Right. Thank you, brother. And Andres, just stay with me because I want to do one more thing. But the jump point is this. If we perceive that everything that everybody does, including ourselves, is either an act of love or a cry for help. Active love, cry for help. And realize we don't have to help everybody. And we can't help everybody, right? But it's an active love, cry for help. Someone's like, what are you doing? Like, how dare you call me? It's like, wow, hey, I'm really sorry you're having, that you're receiving me that way. So I really hope you have a blessed day. And is there anything I could do? Like, I'm happy to hang up, but it really sounds like you're upset. I'm not joking. I won't even talk about my product or service, but could I just listen? Do you just want to share to me, like, what's going on in your day that's making us angry and upset? Clearly you're stressed. And obviously this phone call is adding to it, and I'm sorry for that. But do you want to just listen and yell? I'm here, I'm present. Like, how beautiful, no matter what they respond. Andres, would that feel good for you to like be able to lean in that way and love another human that way?
Absolutely. Especially nowadays when people are not heard. People are not seen and not understood. So yes.
Yeah. So just lean in, just love people, right? We don't have to receive anger. We don't have to receive frustration. It's not about us. We don't have to make up stories that it's never about us. And we could do something wrong and apologize, but how people react, even if you do something like that you perceive to be the wrong thing or suboptimal, it's still like just their story with great empathy and love from us. Great empathy and love. And by the way, I've had a long journey in this because my reflex is caretaking. I've worked with some of the best boundary experts, caretaking experts, codependent experts in the country for me personally, because it's been a lifelong journey. I am the child of alcoholism, in my family. So there's some patterns that showed up for me. So none of this is like, I don't have empathy and love for people. My God, I am an empath. So I'm also an empath though for you, for all of you, in how you would internalize and take what other people are feeling and saying, receive it, and let it impact your self-mastery and stop your action. So this Fun Friday, the bottom line question is, building your business is fun. There's a lot of ways to have fun. Andres, straight up from your heart, are you having more fun? How would you compare the level of fun you're having right now about building your business to any other time in your life? And I have no idea what his answer is going to be. Drop it.
I'm having the time of my life, to be honest. Just beginning with that, the type of people that I'm surrounding myself with, and the different things that are evolving, and just the acceleration and just doing it and seeing the fruits of it. I'm having the time of my life, to be honest. And it's not just all business. Like it's in other areas as well. It's something that is transmuted into all areas because there's other things that are important to us, and to myself as well. So yes, absolutely. A lot of fun.
Chaz, when we take it home today, I want to go with, I hope you dance. And it's an honor of everybody here. It's an honor of Andres and this harboring I don't want to put negative energy into the space, but I want to like have a spot. We could let things become old. So this beautiful news, like, oh my God, like lawyers, accountants, financial people, they want to talk to me. They're in pain. They want to grow. This is fun, right? Eventually for them, they could fall into the trap of it not being new and fun. And we could follow suit. Don't ever let anything become not new and fun anymore. Commitments for me, when I go to my beach house in Long Beach Island, every single time when I go to that house, I walk up on the roof deck. And every time before I leave, I go up on the roof deck. And I remember the day I walked up there and said, someday I'll buy a house like this, because I didn't think I had the money to buy it when I first saw it. And then I realized I did. And I was just like upper limiting. And I bought it. And everybody in the family said I was crazy. Just like they had said shortly before that, I was crazy for starting my law firm. And 3 months later, I bought a primary residence that cost 2.5 times as much as the one I bought before that. And I thought, so I was crazy again. This is all in that 1999, 2000 timeframe for me. And every time I committed when I bought that house to myself and my heart and my soul that I was never going to let it get old. Right? And so I go up on that roof and I remember the fear, the gratitude, the exhilaration. I remember Tyler, my son's first birthday on that roof. And I also committed to no matter when I'm there during the year, I'm going in the ocean. And I'm going to feel the feelings and the exuberance of new and fun and excitement that so many people leave behind in their childhood. And that's the beginning of self-mastery. It's all an act of love or cry for help, including how we deal with ourselves, and never let it get old. And Andres, I'm so proud of you. I'm inspired by you. I'm impressed by you, and I'm having fun with you, brother. So thank you for being on today.
Thank you. No, it means a lot. Thank you, Shawn.
Thank you. Adam, thank you, brother. And final, today I'm talking about magic moments. For me, it's not about a lot of things, but it is about having some fun sometimes and magic. It's not about talking about economics, but sometimes having economics give us the opportunity to do something fun. My daughter's having her prom today. You go, wait a minute, did you have a prom last Friday? Like, your daughter has something every week now. They had an in-person graduation 2 weeks ago. They scheduled their own private prom when they thought there would be no prom for last weekend. So that was like a group of them having like their prom. And then the school said, hey, we are going to have the prom, if they said they weren't. So tonight's the prom. And so I just, was talking to my daughter last night. I'm like, you know what, honey? I'm like, it's all good if you don't want this, but like, you guys have had a rough year. I want to get like a party bus for you guys, if you want. And she's like, Dad, no, that's a lot. I'm like, honey, it's not a lot. I love you. And I was thinking last night after we hung up, I'm like, you know what? I want to get party buses to make sure every senior can ride in a party bus, because they had a really rough year. So I'm going to do that and have fun today in a magic moment. And thank you for letting me share that, because I'm going to make sure that all the Emerson seniors that want to ride in a party bus, some kids that don't have the economics to, get a car, get a limo, whatever, and they want to all go together, I'm going to get as many party buses as people want. And that's the fun and magic of what financial abundance can create. And if we don't have that, it's okay too. There's no judgment. But when we do, it gives us the opportunity to think of like, hey, like, I love this town. This is like my place. This is my daughter's friends. I know these kids since they're 5. Hey, that could be a cool thing. That's not a huge deal for me to do, but might be a huge deal for them. And it's a beautiful way to send them out with a gift. So I hope you dance. It's Fun Friday. It all starts with loving people and loving yourself. And I do love you guys. And thank you. Adam, love you, brother. Love everybody in the Unblinded team. Want to acknowledge Nicole Mael, who's been working like a lunatic non-stop to make things happen as well. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Love you guys.